In this video, I'll be reviewing the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus Dash Camera. If you're a rideshare driver, delivery service driver, or a parent of a young driver of a vehicle, you may want to consider getting a 3-channel offering which includes an interior camera that records what goes on inside the vehicle. In this product offering, they include a 720p 30 frames per second capable interior camera that records day or night. It has infrared LEDs to illuminate the inside of the passenger compartment so it can record at night. The DR750X product series includes a 1080p front and rear camera. The front camera does record at 60 frames per second and the rear at 30 frames per second. The 3-channel version of this product does have a reduced bit rate on the front camera compared to the 2-channel version, and I'll show you some comparison video here so you can see the quality difference, if you can see any difference at all. Pittasoft did supply this dash camera free of charge to me for the review, but I'm allowed to say anything I find good or bad, and I am allowed to keep the camera after the review. After watching this video, I hope you have the necessary information to make an informed purchase decision to see if the BlackVue DR750X Plus 2-channel or 3-channel dash camera is the one for you. So, let's get into it. This video contains several sections. If there's a section of interest for you, look at the time index in this list and jump to that section of the video. This video is part of a review series for the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus Dash Camera. Make sure you check out the video description section for a link to the review series playlist. Now let's take a look at some daytime footage from the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus. Upper left we have that interior camera, which is the special thing added in the 3-channel version of this kit. 720p at 30 frames per second. Upper right is the rear camera at 1080p 30 frames per second, and the front camera is a 1080p at 60 frames per second, and here it is full screen. The bitrate is reduced on the front camera video because of the third camera being added, so you might want to compare the video from the 2-channel version versus the 3-channel version. On the left we have the 3-channel, on the right we have the 2-channel, and the bitrate for the 3-channel version is about 67% of the 2-channel version. So if you scale up the video from the 2-channel version of the camera, you can see a little bit more detail on it, but it's very slight difference. Now taking a look at the rear camera, you may notice a slight darkness or kind of a gray hue to the video from the rear camera. I've been chasing an issue with Pittasoft over the last couple of months related to the X Plus series rear cameras. They all share the same rear 1080p 30 frames per second camera. I'll discuss that later in this video. On the left side we have the interior camera video from the BlackVue configuration, 720p 30 frames per second, and on the right we have the VFO T130 3-channel configuration interior camera, which is 1080p at 30 frames per second. The BlackVue video during the day is decent quality, but I tend to like the T130 just a little bit better. Here's the BlackVue 720p interior camera video scaled to 1080p for this review video, so you can take a little bit closer look at the quality from the daytime video captured by that camera. And this is the VFO T130 interior camera video, which is 1080p 30 frames per second at full screen size here, and you have a wider view angle in the lens, giving you a better view of the interior of your vehicle. I ran a test to see how well the details could be picked up for the license plates of vehicles around me during the daytime with the 4 different dash cameras installed in my vehicle. The details of each camera is on the right hand side. The 1080p video cameras from BlackVue on the top 2 sections on the plate from the vehicle that's stationary directly in front of my vehicle is pretty decent. The 2K video from the VFO T130 is a little bit more crisp, and then the 4K video from the ZenFox U1 is a little bit more crisp. Actually, it's pretty decent, and those are all scaled to 500% of their original size. On the left hand side there you can see a silver minivan. The vehicle was in motion approaching my vehicle. 1080p video from the BlackVue cameras just doesn't pick up the details. I don't think any 1080p video really would pick up details that well. 2K video, you can kind of see the shapes of letters there, but you really can't intelligently guess what they are. The 4K video on the bottom from the ZenFox U1, you can kind of begin to guess what the letters are, so keep that in mind if you're using this for plate recognition. 1080p video can have some challenges, especially when the vehicle is in motion. Now let's take a look at some nighttime footage from the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus Dash Camera. You can see that the headlamps on the approaching vehicles have some halos around them. although the brightness level of the roadway and the objects on the side of the road is picked up nicely by the 1080p 60 frames per second front camera, but there's still a lot of halos around anything with a bright light source. Here's an unobstructed view of that front camera video. You can see that I do have a windshield reflection of an infotainment system in my vehicle. A circular polarizing lens filter could be used to get rid of that or reduce it, but the BlackVue CPL is not recommended for nighttime use. It does darken the video quite a bit. You can use a CPL in the daytime to reduce any dashboard reflections or glare like that might appear in the windshield. Here's the side-by-side 2-channel versus 3-channel front camera video from the DR750X Plus series to see if that lower bitrate in the 3-channel version makes any difference at night. There might be a slight difference, but not much. Here's the rear video camera sample at night, and since it's the same image sensor, but it's 1080p at 30 frames per second versus the 60 frames per second for the front camera, it has the same issues as far as halos around the lights. I have to say it's not exactly as good as I would like it to be, but it is a 1080p camera at 30 frames per second. And the main reason again that you're buying that 3-channel product is to get that interior camera. At night, the 720p 30 frames per second camera provided with the BlackVue product just is a bit too grainy for my liking. You can see it looks like the ISO is bumped quite a bit. It's just very grainy in its appearance, plus the field of view is restricted compared to the Viofo T130 that I'm showing here. So it does work and you can see the objects in the vehicle. I just tend to prefer the 1080p and wider field of view from the Viofo product. My installation of the interior camera ran into a couple of technical issues. The mount places it very close to the front windshield, and in my particular vehicle there's not a lot of available space, so I had to use a block that boosted it about half an inch away from the windshield itself to get it far enough out to not see the center rearview mirror and all of the roof headliner. And secondly, even in that position, I had the issue with the roof headliner being of a brighter, lighter color, a cream color. The infrared light was being reflected too much by that material. For my purposes of testing the camera, I used a black sheet of felt padding from a noise isolation kit, and I placed that on the roof headliner. That changed it from the reflective cream color of the roof headliner material to the dark black color, and that reduced the reflected light from the infrared emitters on the interior camera. I ran a series of power consumption tests for the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus Dash Camera. Here are the results for those various tests. The first column without the USB hub means all 3 cameras were in use, but the interior camera was plugged directly into the USB port of the front camera. Then I added the USB hub without adding the CM100 LTE connectivity device in that with USB hub column. And then the column with CM100 LTE has the USB hub and the CM100 LTE plugged into it. And the Cloud Live View column is where I placed an active load on the LTE connection by going through the cloud service to get a live view of the various cameras. And you can see the power consumption for that particular combination with the other ones on the left-hand side. I would pay close attention to the parking mode columns, since those are the ones showing the power consumption of the device operating in parking mode in the various configurations. And that is the power consumption you need to plan for with your vehicle's battery or a Dashcam battery pack. Since the consumption of this particular combination, especially with the optional CM100 LTE device, is sometimes 500 to over 900 milliamps, it's a very power hungry device in the various higher end operational modes. So I would suggest that a Dashcam battery pack is used to power this device. Even though the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus includes battery protection feature with a low voltage cutoff feature, the amount of draw that it's consuming, especially with the optional CM100 LTE, will quickly deplete a vehicle's battery, especially if it's a hybrid vehicle that has a very small 12-volt battery that powers the accessories. I strongly encourage you to consider installing a Dashcam battery pack for this type of configuration. I'm now going to test the impact detection capabilities of the camera in parking mode. I have the sensitivity settings for parking mode set to a value of 9 for all 3 of them. You can see that the recording captures about 5 seconds prior to the impact event for a total length of 1 minute for this event file, and it creates an event file for all 3 camera sources. One of the main reasons of getting the cloud connectivity for any dash camera product is to be notified when an event occurs when you're away from the vehicle. This particular impact test that I ran at 11/20/36 is shown here in the list of notifications, and I did get a pop-up alert on my phone when it took place. One feature I really like with the BlackVue cameras is the ability to use the BlackVue Cloud service. And one of the nice features in the BlackVue Cloud service is the ability to look at the videos that have been uploaded from the various events. The live event uploads when a parking or driving event has taken place, it can be configured to upload those to the cloud. Next, we're checking out the BlackVue Cloud Live View.
Live view on.
And you'll get that alert as you connect to the camera, and the occupants of the vehicle will hear that as well. In this demonstration, I'm using the BlackVue app on an iOS device, and I was able to connect and see the front camera, rear camera, and the interior camera views without any problem. This DR750X-3 Plus Dash Camera is connected to BlackVue Cloud over a CM100 LTE for North America with a T-Mobile SIM card. Having a dash camera record what goes on at your vehicle is a nice thing to have, but having that extra feature of being notified when something goes on is even better. BlackVue Cloud provides that feature. It has a historical list here inside the app to take a look at those notifications. Having that historical list is great, but having instant push notifications is even better. With BlackVue Cloud, you have that ability, so if someone impacts your vehicle while it's parked somewhere and you're away from it, you can take a look at the notification and you can connect to BlackVue Cloud. And assuming you've configured it to upload that as a live event, you can take a look at the uploaded video once it's uploaded to the BlackVue Cloud. And if you want to see what's going on at your vehicle right now, you can use that BlackVue Cloud Live View feature as well. The BlackVue Cloud website provides many of the same features that the app does when it comes to connectivity to the dash camera. And of course, you can play back video that's stored on a micro SD card. But I wanted to test out the live view functionality here to see how well it worked over the website. And it does connect to the camera. It does get the initial view up here, but there's some problems that come up with this.
Live view on.
So it does the announcement of the live view, and we can see the front camera view. And when I try to change the point of view to the other channels there, the rear channel, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. And it's very sluggish in switching over. We do get the rear camera channel here, but the really big problem for me is the fact that this 3-channel configuration, the interior camera feed doesn't work. And we'll be switching over to that in just a moment. When I request that the interior camera feed be presented on the website view here, it doesn't actually switch over to that. It fails over to the front video feed and goes into a loop like this. It doesn't actually play the live feed from the front camera. It starts the first portion of the live feed when I started this session to the website and never gets beyond that. So there seems to be a problem in the website version of the live view, at least for me. Every time I use the iOS version of the app, it seems to work just fine. So there's a website specific situation going on here. It could be my laptop, but this is my video editing laptop for my videos. It's a high-end laptop, so it should have no problems doing this. I will report these findings to Pittasoft regarding the live view from the website. One of the issues I discovered after reviewing the BlackVue DR750X-3CH Plus Dash Camera was that the rear camera supplied with the X Series Plus cameras produces darker video than it should in many of the lighting conditions while you're driving. To further investigate this issue, Pittasoft sent me the DR750X-3CH Plus Dash Camera. The reason for that is the front camera and rear camera use the same Sony Starvis IMX327 image sensor, and the front camera records at 60 frames per second and the rear at 30 frames per second. Since both are using the same image sensor but the front records at 60 frames per second, the expectation was that the front video should be slightly darker than the rear video because of the higher frame rate. I gathered several days worth of video with that dash camera and found that the rear video was still darker than the front camera, just like with the DR900X-3CH Plus. Pittasoft sent me a second unit, and I returned the first one, the 750X-3CH Plus, gathered several days worth of video, and the same result. The rear camera video was darker in many situations than the front camera. And then I received the 3-channel Plus that I'm reviewing right now, and the same situation occurs. The lighting conditions that best produce this particular situation are with cloudy skies and the sun trying to break through the clouds. The front camera will overexpose the sky and the clouds, while the rear camera will try to darken it to where you can see the bottom side of the clouds, but it will greatly decrease the brightness for the overall image. This issue has not been resolved yet and is currently being investigated by engineering at Pittasoft. Let's go over my list of the pros and cons of the BlackVue DR750X 3-channel Plus dash camera. One of the biggest pros for this dash camera is the availability of the BlackVue Cloud functionality. To obtain that connectivity to the BlackVue Cloud, you can use the CM100LTE connectivity module, which is a USB connection into the front camera, or you can use a Wi-Fi hotspot. With BlackVue Cloud functionality, you get push notifications to your iOS or Android device. You can also check in on your vehicle using the live view capability using the iOS or Android application, or you can use a desktop web browser. You can also have events uploaded to the BlackVue Cloud based on firmware settings in the dash camera. And the X-series dash cameras allow you to have up to 5 Wi-Fi clients that can connect through the front dash camera and share that LTE connection to the internet. The next pro on my list is native parking mode. That's battery protection right in the dash camera, including low voltage cutoff that's compatible with 12 and 24 volt systems. It has a parking mode timer, so you can set a predetermined amount of time to have the camera run in parking mode. And right in the box, you get the 3-wire hardwiring cable, allowing you to hardwire it to your fuse box in your vehicle or to splice it together with a Dashcam battery pack output cable. The next item on the list is motion-based parking mode is still available in this dash camera. If you're unable to provide power to the dash camera using the 3-wire hardwiring cable that we talked about in the last section, which gives you that instantaneous entry and exit of parking mode based on the ignition switch status in the vehicle, you can still provide power using a cigarette lighter or power port adapter, which gives you power to the dash camera, and you can leave the vehicle stationary for 5 minutes and it will enter parking mode, and then it will exit parking mode when the vehicle begins to move. So you can have parking mode no matter how you power the dash camera. And here's a quick recap of the camera specifications. Of course, the difference between the 2-channel and the 3-channel version of this product is the fact that the interior camera is present, and that's the 720p high definition at 30 frames per second camera. Let's go over my list of cons or things I would like to see improved with the DR750X 3-channel and 2-channel Plus dash cameras. The first issue I'd like to see resolved is the rear camera dark video problem that I showed you earlier in the video, and I'm showing on the right here a small sample of that. Again, all the X Plus series cameras have the same problem, and I'm looking forward to a firmware release from Pittasoft that will resolve this issue in the near future. The next item on the list is pricing. The price for the DR750X 3-channel Plus with a 64GB micro SD card is $499 US on the BlackVue website, and the 2-channel version is $429 US. And that doesn't give you the connectivity to the cloud unless you have a Wi-Fi hotspot in your vehicle. So if you want to use LTE connectivity using the BlackVue option of the CM100 LTE connectivity device, that's another $169 US that you have to spend on that. So it is a feature-rich product offering from BlackVue, but it can cost a fair amount of money to get the full functionality installed. If you're simply looking for a 3-channel dash camera without the need for the BlackVue Cloud functionality, you can take a look at a product like I reviewed recently from Viofo, the T130 3-channel. They also have an A139 3-channel, which are far more inexpensive compared to the BlackVue offering. Here is my list of items I believe need improvement in future releases of this product. First off, I'd like to see the parking mode options expanded to include a low bitrate selection. Low bitrate would include an audio recording that will give you the ability to record everything that's going on, but still conserve storage space on the micro SD card while it's recording that video. As I mentioned before, motion-based parking mode is available in this dash camera, and it is always available no matter if it's hardwired with the 3-wire hardwiring cable or not. It'd be nice to be able to disable motion-based parking mode if you have powered the dash camera using the 3-wire hardwiring cable. For a dash camera at this price point, I would expect to see an improvement in the video resolution potentially of the front dash camera from 1080p possibly to a 2K quad high definition, and definitely improve the video resolution of the interior camera from 720p to at least 1080p. And the last item on the list is one I've included I think in every dash cam review for BlackVue product, the fact that there's no power on and off button, It'd be nice to be able to power down the dash camera when you arrive home and you don't want to drain your vehicle's battery or your dashcam battery pack's charge level while you're at home. So it'd be nice to at least have that button, since most every other camera I've reviewed has that feature. Thanks for checking out this review video of the BlackVue DR750X 3-channel Plus dash camera. I have some additional videos you might want to check out regarding this particular dash camera. I have a video showing various samples from nighttime driving. I have another video showing various samples from daytime driving, comparing it against some other cameras. And this review series includes an unboxing and feature video as well. If you found this video to be informational, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification to be notified when I upload new videos just like this to the channel. If you have a question or comment, make sure you leave that down in the comment section. If you'd like to save some money, make sure you check out my affiliate links for Blackbox My Car in the video description section. And if you use those links, you'll save 5% on your purchase, over $250 US and $300 Canadian. So thanks for coming to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.